Sorry to bother you, ma'am, but my van broke down on the highway back yonder, and I was hoping I could use y'all's phone to call for help.
Oh my goodness. I'm afraid we don't own a telephone, but my daddy will be home soon, and I'm sure he could give you a lift to town. Would you like to come inside?
Much obliged.
Taking place in Texas in 1979, a traveling group has made plans to rent a cabin with the intention of secretly shooting an adult film. But right from the get-go, they're met with hostility from Howard, the elderly man that owns the property, and a lustful eye from his wife Pearl, who expresses a deep jealousy and feelings of loneliness. We don't know how it's going to happen, but we do know from the opening scene that this evening of cinematic trailblazing is going to end with bloodshed. This is X, a throwback hybrid of 70s pornography and indulgent slashers from the same period. If you went into this movie totally blind, just knowing the title, you might have thought it was about an ex-boyfriend, or about pirates trying to find their lost treasure. But nope, X is about excessive adult entertainment, the best kind of entertainment, apart from pirate movies. As you would expect from a premise like this, along with the multiple genres and it being released by A24, it would be safe to assume that this is a very heavily stylized production. Looking at it on the technical side, it's very well put together. It's gorgeous, framed well, edited in a fun and goofy way. The music is terrific, the sound design is great. This is an extremely competent movie. But sometimes horror and comedy is hard to achieve just by being a skilled filmmaker. And so even with all that being said, X could still fall flat and be an unpleasant experience. For some people, it will be, but I think that X pulls off this juggling act very well. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's creepy, and sometimes it's very, very graphic. One of the biggest strengths for this movie is, surprisingly, its characters. Probably not what you expected in a sexy slasher movie, but here we are. The main focus of this movie is on the chemistry between these actors and the filmmakers, and their different stances. For instance, the director is interested in making art, while his girlfriend comes off as a bit of a prude. It's engaging as a fun little road trip movie. At least at first it is. But the most interesting character by far is Pearl, the old woman that starts stalking our filmmaking friends. The movie has this very heavy theme throughout of superficial beauty being lost with age. And of course, with that, jealousy, envy, rage, all that jazz. When the movie shows us a pornographic scene shot on old film, it not only shows us what is happening right now with the crew, but the movie they're filming mirrors the experience between Maxine and Pearl, making both scenes weirdly ominous and far more clever than it needs to be, making these already creepy moments just that much worse. I can't stress enough how amazing the first half of this movie is. It has a nice slow burn. It gives us some hints as to what to expect, but up until this point, there's still so many unanswered questions about how all of this is going to go wrong. But I have to say, the themes work. The tone of the movie works. Everything about it is an engaging and entertaining experience, and nobody has even died yet. It's even more crazy that this movie has you actually sympathizing for the ruthless killers in this movie. It's brilliant. But as day shifts into night, things are going to go downhill really fast, and this movie's going to be leaving very little left to your imagination. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit to where the fun begins. The director is deeply upset because of reasons I just totally skipped over, and while he's abandoning his friends, he stops to talk to the old lady standing in front of his van. She shoots her shot, gets shut down, and rest in peace, the director takes a knife to the throat. The first taste of violence is downright terrific, as she mounts his body and continues to stab him as Don't Fear the Reaper plays on the stereo. The shots are reminiscent of Psycho, which he had previously referenced, and as he continuously gets hacked up, the blood coats the headlights with darker and darker shades of red, making the lighting itself get bloodier as the scene goes on. Then she dances in the headlights. You can hear the music in her head as she's being reminded of her days of being a young dancer. It's excessive and creepy and a whole lot of fun. The movie continued to have fun homages to old movies, like the typical point of view shot that slashers used to regularly use. And the murder scene in the barn feels very Friday the 13th as well. Actually, every character has a pretty fun horror scene that leads up to their demise. Everyone except Bobby, who gets into an altercation with Gloria and gets pushed into the lake, resulting in her getting gobbled up by an alligator. They were trying to be cheesy and dumb. It was 100% intentional, but I feel like she got the short end of the stick. The dialogue's bad, it isn't very satisfying, and worst of all, it felt rushed. Even though you knew it was coming due to foreshadowing, it's just not the best death scene. As an artsy, sexy slasher film, X sounds like an odd blend. It wants you to laugh and jump and be disturbed. It wants you to sympathize with the characters while also trying to gross you out. So it yanks you around a little bit, and oddly enough, it works out just fine because the movie is so bold and confident with its decisions. Now, I don't think this is going to appeal to every slasher fan, and not everything works flawlessly, but for everything it's going for, it works better than I could have hoped. It's as ambitious as it is a throwback, and it totally nails almost everything it attempts. X might not be as exciting as some slashers, and not as satisfying as some pornos, but X is nothing short of excellent.